All right. Back in your life, we got the Game of Pros back in here. It's February 26th. If you don't know, it's National Pistachio Day. I wanted to give a special shout out to my mother-in-law, Cecilia, who makes some bomb coquito during the holidays. And she makes a very special germs. You must have tried it. The pistachio coquito, which is out of this world.
Oh,
So
yeah. Dang.
a happy National Pistachio Day. And it's also National Tell a Fairy Tale Day. And speaking of fairy tales, we're going to be talking some fantasy football today, guys. And, you know, so specifically some wide receiver rankings. Of course, we're not talking rookies yet. The draft is still a couple months away. But we're looking at top, you know, just what are our top ranked receivers, you know, going into 2021. So we got some of the best pros with us tonight, and hopefully we can help any and all of our viewers get closer to their fantasy glory. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Let's get it.
Let's do it.
All right. So my first question, I think, right off the top, since we're starting at number one, raise your hand if Dee Adams is not your number one receiver for 2021. Okay. Oh, Carlos, who's number one?
Tyreek Hill.
Okay.
You got to go with him.
Got to go with Hill. But Dee Adams was number one last year.
Yeah, but you're right. But Hill had 18 touchdowns. I mean, that's insane. Well, yeah, hold on. Let me go back. Sorry. Let me take that back. Yep. He had 15 touchdowns.
What, 2 fewer games, though, I think.
Yeah, I think it was Adams who had 18 touchdowns. Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, Hill, it's just that whole like Green Bay situation. It's always, I mean, do you really think Adams can repeat what he did last year again or even improve upon that? I think he'll regress a little bit. I just don't see that Green Bay situation getting better there. So
a little note on Adams. I mean, he did what he did. I think he scored 30 more regular season fantasy points, PPR points, than anyone else, and he missed practically 3 games. So yeah, I mean, I think the consensus probably across most leagues is Dee Adams is a top. Now, so second question: does anyone have these 3 players not in some order in their top 3? Diggs, Adams, Tyreek.
Yeah, I definitely put those top. My personal list. Yeah,
I have 2 of those on my list.
Which one of those 3 is not on your list?
This is
on your top 3.
Diggs.
Top 3. Diggs is not in your top 3.
Yeah.
Where do you have Diggs, Carlos?
Diggs, I have ranked. I have him at 6.
Not even in your top 5.
Yeah. I'm throwing, yeah, no, I'm, you know me, like I like to roll the dice.
Like to be bold.
And no, actually, yeah, go ahead.
I think it's the potential to be the number 1 next year.
Yeah, I mean, making this list was kind of difficult because it's just these guys could all be number 1. I mean, the top 5 guys could all be number 1. Not much separates any of them. I mean, really, it's just it all depends on the quarterback play, like who has the most consistent quarterback play. And I mean, I don't know.
That is true.
Tiers, like tier 1 for me would be Adams, Hill, and Diggs. I think after that, DeAndre Hopkins maybe is part of that tier. I'd argue just in the next tier. I definitely think that any of the 1 through 3s could be number 1 for sure, easily.
Yeah.
Like if there's any interchanging in those 3, there's no surprise to everyone, right?
Now, I do have a curveball that I want to mention, and that's what's throwing off my whole rankings. And I actually have, depending on what happens in the situation in Seattle, I have Metcalf as number 2. Yeah. I think DK Metcalf is gonna. I mean, I think this is the year where he's gonna really blow up, and he's already a superstar. But I think depending on what happens with Russell Wilson, I think this is the year where he explodes. So
DK and Lockett were respectively number 7 and number 8 ranked. That was a hell of a tandem in Seattle last year.
Yeah,
Right.
I think it's interesting because I have Metcalf out of my top 10.
Wow.
Oh. All right, Chris, give us your top 10.
My top 10 for fantasy.
PPR.
All right.
Just for fans.
PPR. I got Adams, Diggs, Hill, Robinson, Justin Jefferson, Ridley, Evans, D Hop, Thielen, Keenan Allen.
Keenan Allen is your 10.
Yeah.
D Hop
like
is your 8.
D Hop is my 8.
So I don't have a problem with that list, but you're very high on A-Rob.
Yeah, because I think he's going to demand to go to a place that's going to feed him the ball.
He'll be the true number 1, and he'll probably go to a team with like a steady quarterback.
With a steady quarterback. Like honestly, maybe the Colts. With Wentz throwing to him, that would be nasty.
I like that.
He could be the number 1 receiver of next year if that happens. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
I can
surprised.
see that. I think I had seen a lot of stuff about the Ravens. I think that would be good for him. I hadn't had Allen Robinson ranked just because I don't know where he's going yet. I think almost
same
for
here.
sure he'll end up in my top 10. But I just didn't rank him because I don't know where he's going to be.
Yeah, same here. You know, I didn't put him in my top 10 just because I didn't know who was going to be throwing them the ball. I know he's going to be, saving any quarterback that he's on. He's been saving their ass. I don't know if you guys followed his career, but every quarterback he's had hasn't been that great, and he's been the one making those making the tough catches, making the quarterback's completion rate a little bit better. But yeah, I didn't put him on my list, but I love him, and I'm excited to see where he's landing.
Yeah, I mean, he's also been getting, whatever it is, 11, 12 targets a game for as long as I can remember. If he ends up somewhere where he can't get those kinds of targets, I think last year maybe he was 3rd in targets. If he ends up somewhere where he doesn't get those type of targets, a run-heavy team, let's say Baltimore decides to go back to a run-heavy offense, Lamar decides to run for another 1,000 yards. Mark Andrews becomes the 3rd down guy. I could see that maybe hurting Allen Robinson.
Yeah, and going back to Chris's list, most of those guys were in last year's top 10. Last year's top 10: Dee Adams, Tyreek, Diggs, D Hop, Ridley, Jefferson, DK, Lockett, A-Rob, number 9, Thielen, number 10, and close ones were Mike Evans, AJ Brown, then Keenan Allen. So that's a solid top 10. Actually, let me hear some more top. Who else has a top 10 ranking right now?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
You didn't do a top 10?
Go ahead, Carlos.
I can't raise my hand. I don't know why I don't see this, but yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. So yeah, my top 10s are I have Tyreek number 1, DK number 2, Devontae Adams number 3. I have a huge year coming for AJ Brown. I have him number 4. I have D Hops at number 5. I have Stephon Diggs at 6. Mike Evans, with Tom Brady still throwing the football at him. I have him at 7. Calvin Ridley at 8. I have Justin Jefferson at 9 and MT at 10. And MT, Thomas Jefferson is very. I mean, Michael Thomas is Thomas Jefferson. Different.
Slightly different Jefferson.
Michael Thomas, he it depends. I mean, I keep hearing Drew Brees might retire before the season starts, so he'll quickly drop out of my top 10 if Drew Brees retires. But out of that list, my highlight is AJ Brown. I won't be surprised if he's top 3 next year. That man is, I mean, he's been consistently, even his rookie year, he had over 1,000 yards. Last year, he had 1,000 yards. If, I think this is the year that he'll also, maybe have double-digit touchdowns. So we'll see.
Yeah, I had a conversation with Mike the other day. He's also huge on AJ Brown. I actually left AJ Brown out of my top 10, and I'll probably have to devote a whole different episode to explain that. But MT Michael Thomas did not make my top 10. So I went. I think it's impossible to go to again, we talked about the top 3: Adams, Tyreek, Diggs, in whatever order. DK, I think he steps up, and then I've got Allen Robinson, D-Hop. That was a tough one because I watched a lot of Cardinals games last year, and I don't know that he can catch another 115 balls next year. I don't like their offense. I don't like their constant 3 and outs, their miraculous Hail Mary type games. And then 2 guys I added in my top 10 that it doesn't sound like some of you guys have is Amari Cooper. I think if Dak comes back healthy, this guy could easily be a top 5. I think Mike Evans is going to stay around there. And I have Cooper Kupp at number 9 and Will Fuller, depending on where he goes, I have him at 10. I think he was kind of already close to that without the suspension last year. And then very close, this is kind of, extra stuff, but depending on what happens in Pittsburgh, either Juju or Chase might be around that top 10, that last tier for me as well.
Yeah, like Dennis said, I'm pretty high on AJ Brown too. I actually have him also 4th, Carlos. And I see what you're, I see what you see. You have DK and AJ back to back because they're physical freaks. I mean, the things that those guys can do, just most players can't. I mean, I could see AJ Brown or DK Metcalf in a strongman competition. Doing anything else. So my top 10 was Adams, Hill, Diggs. I also had AJ Brown 4th. Then Justin Jefferson 5th. I think Chris also had him 5th. D-Hop, DK Metcalf, Ridley, Keenan Allen, and then I'm kind of showing my burgundy and gold on this one, but I'm going to go Terry McLaurin, number 10, without knowing who's throwing the ball. I just think he gets better and better every year, and I'm confident that this year that the football team will find someone who can reliably get him the ball. He's not going to be relying on Dwayne Haskins and Alex Smith throwing to him.
Yeah, I had scary Terry right outside of my top 10 too. Yeah, I think he's gonna. Okay. It doesn't matter who throws the football. I think he's gonna have his fair share of targets.
Okay. So my list, y'all already know. I'm not a big fan of Tyreek Hill. I think he's overall receiver wise, he's an average receiver. Obviously I'm not blind. I see that he's a freaking playmaker. He's a baller. Fantasy wise, it's, I see him being the top next year just because I think they're gonna have a chip in their shoulder and they're gonna go all out. I think Mahomes, the Chiefs. I think they're gonna go all out next year. I think they're getting it. They're gonna start. They're starting now type thing. Dee Adams, number 2. just because that duo is unstoppable. It's the numbers are there. He with less games, he still put out these ridiculous numbers. You can't argue with that. I got Diggs number 3. That's who I believe is the best receiver in the game right now, Stephon Diggs. I also have AJ Brown as number 4, man. I think
3 number 4.
Yeah, I got
Wow.
with Corey Davis leaving, he big opportunities. It opens up for him. D Hop number 5. Who else? I kind of made up my list at like 5 minutes ago. D Hop's at number 5. Michael Thomas number 6. I think that's a big question too. Who's Brees and all that, but I think he's gonna have a chip on his shoulder too, because I don't think he was healthy coming back. I don't think he was fully recovered. I think he was hurt. He didn't look like with Michael Thomas, in my opinion. So I think he's gonna, this offseason, he's gonna put in the work. He's gonna come strong. And hey, the slant stuff works, man. Y'all could talk trash, but that slant stuff works. Nobody stops it until they stop it. Until they double coverage, it's gonna work. I got Keenan Allen. What am I? Number 7? I think 7.
Yeah.
Keenan Allen. The young guy, Herbert. He looks exciting to watch though. I mean, Keenan Allen's a dog, man. He's an underdog too. People don't even give him the credit. He's been a baller ever since I've been watching. I got Scary Terry
Number 10.
at number 8. Scary.
Oh, we're losing germs.
I got hold on.
All right, I'm gonna mute this guy for a little bit while he gets his things together.
I got at number 10. No, at number 10, I had Amari Cooper. Can y'all hear me?
I can hear you now.
Number 10. Number 10, I also had Amari Cooper. I think with Dak healthy, you could say Lamb's gonna take his touches and all that, but Lamb is just another person, another weapon that they're gonna have to, another reason they can't double cover, Amari Cooper. So that's my list. Yo.
Cool, I like it. What you got, Chris?
Terry the highest.
Yeah.
Was that?
I think out of all 5 of us, Germs had Terry the highest. That number 8.
Oh,
I
think he gets way too much attention. I'm really hoping, I'm counting on, Washington bringing another weapon to take away the attention from Terry, because he's doing this. He's putting up these numbers with being the main guy, with absolutely nobody helping him. I guess, yeah.
And terrible quarterback play too.
and terrible quarterback. Exactly.
Did you all see what Richard Sherman said about Terry?
I did.
What did he say?
He was like, if they had another guy that would force defenses not to double cover him or cloud them, he'd be a freaking stud. He'd be putting up numbers like Diggs. And I agree.
I'm sure. Yeah, I
totally
definitely see it. Yeah.
I don't
I mean,
doubt
we also need a Josh Allen.
Well, there's only like 1 or 2 of those in the world. And I mean, you have Alex Smith, who can only throw the ball 20 yards downfield. Case Keenum, who, I don't know. I mean, come on. I'm just sick of the quarterback play here. I do believe he can be a Diggs. He's not on my top 10 because I think either we're getting a rookie quarterback, or we're getting Sam Darnold, or we're getting Taylor Heineke. I just don't see him. I'm really gonna have to maybe change my list. The more I listen to you guys talk about AJ Brown, I feel like an idiot. I guess the way I saw it was that offense is so reliant on Derrick Henry that I don't know. I guess it's sort of why I left. I guess some of the other guys out. Like I don't know who. Regardless, I'm gonna draft Julio Jones first round, guys. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
The usual.
First overall.
That's my own bold prediction. Is that I draft Julio Jones with the first overall pick in 2021.
I'm surprised you guys kept MT out. Like
I kept
You
MT
don't
out
know you don't
for
know
the same
situation.
reason I kept AJ Brown out.
I mean,
I think the
wasn't he
offense
like
is all
last year getting
Kamara.
drafted? Yeah, he was like getting drafted like top 3 last year or something like that. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
he's been a top receiver, draft like a first round receiver that last 2-3 years. I just think regardless of Brees, so I'm contrary to Germ's point, whether Brees comes back or not, whether it's Taysom Hill, Winston, I think Michael Thomas takes a step back in that offense. I think it's all Kamara. I think it's very similar to the Derrick Henry type deal in Tennessee.
And actually, I just remembered some stuff that Germ said about the Chiefs. I disagree. I think that the Chiefs are going to have a major Super Bowl hangover. It happens almost every year. The 49ers last year, after they lost in the Super Bowl, they were
Rams,
like right off the bat, they just got blown
Falcons,
up.
right?
Falcons. And I think they'll have the same thing. I think they're going to start off slow. And I think, by the end of the year, they're going to start heating up. Obviously, they'll make the playoffs. And maybe they'll go to the Super Bowl again for the third time in 3 years. But I think it's going to happen with the Chiefs. I think it's going to happen with the Saints a little bit too. I think they're going to regress a little bit. And I think the Packers will too. I think those 3 playoff teams they're gonna take a step back, I think.
Yeah, I definitely agree on your points about the Saints for sure. I think Michael Thomas is due for a major step back from a couple of years ago. Even with Brees getting older and him not being able to stretch the field like he could, that plays to Michael Thomas's strengths, which is that slant route that Jeremy was talking about. And if you do have Winston out there, he's not nearly as accurate. He'll stretch the field. I think Michael Thomas will, he'll hit a few more home runs, but he's not going to end up with 115 receptions. I just don't see it. And if it is Taysom Hill, then I think his stock falls even farther. And about the Chiefs, you do see that from time to time, especially after losing, but none of those teams have Pat Mahomes. I just think the way that this offense runs and with is I think Tyreek is in his contract year, right?
I think so.
I just think that Tyreek is going to ball out. He's my number 2. And the teams know what they're doing every game. It's no secret. It's Hill and Tyreek. In fact, I actually think Tyreek may take a step forward next year because I think if I saw correctly, they're losing Sammy Watkins, right? And Demarcus Robinson. It's going to be pretty much him and McCole Hardman out there. They can't throw it to Kelsey every time. And I think the Chiefs are just going to keep it rolling.
They can, and I think they do throw to Kelsey every single play.
I got a question for you guys. So I like what you said, Chris. I like that point that a lot of teams do take a step back after the Super Bowl. How much do you think that is like psychological or like mentally? Like how much do you think that plays in effect? You think it's
pretty much all
and you think it's like losing to Brady? Does you think that adds to that? Like,
oh yeah, Mahomes has only lost 2 playoff games ever, and it's been against Brady both times.
Yeah, and I was just because you were saying the Packers too was another team. That was a big that playoff loss. That was a big one. That was
It's not easy to make the playoffs. It's not easy to get to the conference championship games, and it's certainly not easy for these teams to get all the way to the Super Bowl. We see what happened with the Falcons, lost to the Patriots, the Rams lost to the Patriots. it is a pattern that, we might have to put some money down on that, Chris, because that's a good prediction.
Yeah.
So if you're in the 4th round and you have 2 running backs and a tight end, or 2 running backs and your stud QB, you need a receiver, right?
Mhm.
You're in the middle of the 4th round. You got these people available: Keenan Allen, Calvin Ridley, AJ Brown. Carlos, who you taking?
AJ Brown.
Chris.
Ridley.
Mike.
Brown, easy.
Jarvis.
Brown.
I would take Julio Jones.
Again.
It's
Not named,
funny.
but he must be on my team.
It's funny that you
Oh,
mentioned
man.
Ridley. Actually, I think this year the Falcons are going to transition a little bit, and I think it's going to be the passing of the torch. I think Ridley becomes the number 1 receiver, and Julio Jones starts acting like that Larry Fitzgerald, just like consistent old guy.
No, Larry
I don't know.
Fitzgerald has played every snap for every year that's ever been in history. Julio Jones cannot do that.
No, I laugh because Chris mentioned consistency and Julio Jones in the same
same
sentence.
Okay,
Julio
man
Jones is
goes-
a monster,
he
you
goes
guys.
he goes for like 3 points and then 20 points one week. It goes. He'll win you the
300
week though.
yards.
I
He'll
think
win you the
part of
week.
the reason is because
He'll-
he's relied on so heavily in that offense. But now he's not the only number 1 receiver on that team. I think Ridley is that guy. I'm really high on him. I think if he
Ridley
was the only-
Ridley was number 5 last year. If he gets the number 5 again, I mean, he's a stud. I don't see him keeping that up. That's another guy that is out of my top 10.
What?
Yeah, Ridley is not in my top 10. I'll get all of our top 10s together and I'll post them on our channel and on our page so we could actually remember this and we could change it up and whatnot. So nobody has Cooper Kupp. No love for the Stafford Kupp connection. No.
Nah, not
If
yet. I gotta
anything,
see it
Woods
first.
over Cup.
I think
If
Woods
anything-
is going to be the guy.
Yeah, I think Woods would be higher than Cup.
100%.
And no shade on Cup because I think he's a stud. Like if you look at his highlights, he's a good receiver. He is a very good receiver. I think Woods takes the receptions though, and that's
But
what matters in PPR.
Woods was the better of the 2 last year, but I think since they've both been on that team, I think Hoop has been the guy. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, if Woods is on the outside, which I think he'll be, if Cup is healthy, Cup usually plays the slot, right?
Well, they're
So-
both. They do a lot of.
They both do slots, right? They kind of, yeah. So
They're
I
weird.
I just feel like Woods fits that. I think Stafford likes those big outside receiver, even though Woods is not that big. But I don't see him throwing in the middle as much. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's a different system altogether. So
Yeah. I don't even know what. Yeah, I can't even predict it right now because when I think about the Rams offense, all I think about is that stupid ass play they run, where it's like a misdirection. Like I don't know. I don't know. And
They
that's all
try
I
to,
think
like-
about when I think Rams offense. That's all I think about. So
it's just that wide receiver
I don't know.
sweep, like with Robert Woods. Like I think he had like two rushing touchdowns, or I don't know if it was last year or a couple years ago, but they kept like doing that sweep in the red zone. So
Yeah, I would put money on both of them being top 15.
All right, so round 7. These are your choices: Tyler Boyd, Deontay Johnson, Brandon Cooks, or my man's Jamison Crowder. Carlos, who you got?
Ooh.
wait, say that again. Sorry.
Jamison Crowder, Tyler
Uh-huh.
Boyd, Deontay Johnson, Brandon Cooks. Cooks would be presumably right now the number 1 receiver in Houston. Let's
Yeah.
assume that Watson is still there throwing the ball.
I'll go Tyler Boyd.
Like,
Yeah, I think I'll go Tyler Boyd. I
I
think
would too.
yeah. I mean, he's a stud. I mean, and his what second year with what's his name? His quarterback. Damn, I
Joe
forgot his
Burrow.
Burrow.
Yeah, Burrow. Yeah, I mean, second year with Burrow, I think he'll have a better year this year.
Is anybody followed up on Burrow's injury recovery?
Yeah, I listened to I think it was an interview or podcast or
Wasn't
something
it pretty
where
bad?
the surgeon, yeah, it was pretty bad. The surgeon who did the surgery on him and a bunch of other players from last year who tore their ACLs and MCLs and all that was very encouraged with his recovery, and he stated that he's on the path to be ready to start like taking snaps come week 1. It'll just depend whether the Bengals want to find a way to ease him in.
Want to rush him?
Yeah.
Sorry, what were the choices? It was Crowder, Boyd,
Tyler Boyd, Deontay Johnson, Brandon Cooks.
Johnson. Yeah, I go
Deontay?
Johnson. Yeah, I don't think Juju's coming back to Pittsburgh. I think Johnson's going to be the guy. He's going to be the possession receiver again. That's one less receiver that he has to compete with touches for. Claypool's going to be stretching the field. He's not going to have to worry about double teams. And I just think I don't see the Steelers' run game improving much. I think they're losing Alejandro Villanueva, I believe. I think one other offensive lineman. I think it's going to be a lot of the same. A lot of Big Ben dropping back, throwing, two-step drop, quick pass. It's going to be DeAndre Johnson in the slant every time.
Yeah, he could be a PPR nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that we're talking 7th round. You're either looking for your flex or maybe your second receiver. All these guys are starters, right?
Yeah.
Is Crowder under contract?
Crowder yes, he's under contract next year, but it's mostly salary. So if they cut him, they save pretty much all of it, which is about $10 million. If you listen to our video last time, I had a whole segment on Crowder and why I think the Jets should absolutely keep him. So definitely check it out, Chris. Like and subscribe.
I watched all the videos.
Really missed this one, man.
All right.
I don't know why I'm talking like that to you.
I'll show Brandon Cook some love. You said with Watson's, this is with Watson staying, right? Okay, yeah, definitely. I think even if they pay Fuller to, even if Fuller stays, he still gets his touches.
So they came out already. They came out and said they're not re-signing Fuller or tagging him.
Oh yeah, huh?
They've been on a binge. They just cut their center.
God,
they cut some edge rusher.
I don't get it.
They cut Duke Johnson.
They cut Duke Johnson. They're probably my guess.
I mean, that was.
Yeah,
they should even get. Yeah, I saw them cutting either one of the two.
Yeah.
Maybe
DJ
both.
or Johnson. Maybe, yeah. Dennis was saying even maybe both, but I think they should probably keep one of them. What is going on with the Texans, man?
Texans are a mess.
And then they're not even picking up the phone for trades.
I don't.
Watson's just gonna sit it out. I think Watson's just gonna sit it out.
What a mess.
That would be something new. I don't know if that's ever like a holdout's gone more than like week 3 or something. Like, didn't like Maurice Jones-Drew hold out till like week 3 or something like that once? I don't know. But so all right, we got to close up shop, guys. Last chance at a bold prediction for receivers.
Well, actually, I wanted to answer the question.
Oh,
I think we don't know who's going to throw the ball in New York. So I don't feel comfortable saying Crowder. I think I'd have to go Johnson, though. I think, I had him in a few leagues this year, and I was pretty happy with his performance. And he's going into his 3rd year in Pittsburgh. I think he could be the number 1 for Pittsburgh, maybe.
Yeah.
Definitely the possession guy. I mean, it's
Definitely the target
his
guy.
patented 15 receptions for 87 yards. I think could definitely happen again.
Do you draft? Does anyone here draft Deontay Johnson before Chase Claypool?
Yeah, I would.
I would.
Yeah.
I have to. I'd have to.
So that's another tandem that could be like
Ooh, yeah, I don't
There's
know
a
about
few of
that
them.
like
one.
a Justin Jefferson and Thielen and what's
Yeah.
the name of the other one? DK and Lockett.
Even
Yeah.
in Dallas with CD and Amari and Gallup.
And if
Yeah.
Julio can stay healthy, Ridley and Julio.
Right.
Keep
I'm
Julio's
serious.
name out of your mouth.
Hey, he
man.
consistently gets hurt.
Yeah.
And he
He's
will
consistently
consistently ruin your fantasy.
inconsistent.
When he plays, he balls. It's just he tears his hamstring every quarter, and then he sprains his knee every play, and then he breaks his femur every second. All right, well,
He's gonna-
hey,
Watch him be a top 10 receiver this year.
he's probably the number one receiver going into
I
2020.
root for him all the time.
All right, fellas. Hey, Monday, whoever wants to join us, we're going to be talking some rookie QBs. We're going to talk about why Kyle Trask is Germ's number one quarterback for next year. All right. Hey, good night, fellas. Thanks for joining, everybody. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Hopefully this
See you
is
guys.
some helpful fantasy football advice.
Later, fellas.
All right.
See you next
See
week.
you
All right,
guys.
man. Thank you.
See ya. All right.
Screw you,
Bye.
Zlatan.